Okay, so let's look at some more examples of auto loan payments. So here I have some information that I found on bankrate.com. So where we consider credit score and the average interest rates on new and used scores in each of these ranges of credit scores. So the highest credit scores range from 781 to 850. For a new car, you'll get the lowest interest rate, 3.65%. For a used car, the interest rate is slightly higher at 4.29%. For our lowest credit score range, which is from 501 to 600, for a new car, you can get an interest rate of just under 12%, and on a used car, you would pay almost 18%. So let's pick a few scenarios and see how payments compare. First, let's consider the effective credit score. Maybe if we're considering buying a used car, so what difference will it make as far as the bracket of credit score that we're in, what our car payment will be? So let's say we have our eye on a $30,000 car, and let's first consider a buyer that has a credit score in this range, 601 to 660. So their interest rate is going to be 11.26, so 0.1126. They'll be making 12 payments a year. Then 1 minus, 1 plus, 0.1126 over 12. And in both scenarios, let's consider that they're going to make have a 5-year loan. So this would be negative 60. That's 5 times 12. So their payment is going to be, let's see, 0.1126 divided by 12 times 30,000. This is 281.50, and 0.1126 divided by 12 plus 1. 0.1126 divided by 12 plus 1 raised to negative 60, and then 1 minus that result. This is 0.4290. 0.4290. And so if I take 281.5 and divide it by that result, this car payment would be $656. Now, if I take 656 times the 60 months of the loan, I'd make a total payments of $39,360. So the interest that I would pay over the course of the loan would be $9,360 because the original loan amount was $30,000. Okay, so now what if I am in this lowest bracket of credit scores and my interest rate ends up being 17.74? So I'm still taking out a $30,000 loan. This time I have 0.1774 over 12, and 1 minus, 1 plus, 0.1774 over 12, and to the negative 60. So 0.1774 divided by 12 times 30,000. This is 443.50, and 0.1774 divided by 12 plus 1 raised to a power of negative 60, and then 1 minus that result. This is 0.5854. So if I take 443.5 and divide it by that result, the payment is $758 if I'm rounding to the whole dollar. So 758 times 60, I'd end up paying $45,480. Now the loan was for $30,000, so I'm paying $15,480 in interest. So really that interest was about half the price of the car initially. So the interest rate makes a big difference here. So the length of the loan is the same. They're both 5-year loans, but that's the difference between an 11% interest and an 18% interest. I'm rounding there. So credit score really matters here. So what if you are in this range and you're considering, well, would I be better off maybe buying a more expensive new car rather than a less expensive used car. So we've already calculated, let's see, the $30,000 car at this range. What if we said, well, maybe if I bought a new car, I could buy something more expensive. So maybe a $35,000 car. So what would that payment be? I would have 0.0765 over 12, and 1 minus, 1 plus 0.0765 over 12. And we're going to still consider a 60-month loan. So 0.0765 divided by 12 times 35,000 is 223.125. And then in the denominator, I have 0.0765 divided by 12 plus 1 raised to the negative 60, and 1 minus that, and this is 0.3170. So 223.125 divided by that result, and the car payment is $703 and some change. I should have, to be consistent, I'll round it to $704. So if I take 704 times 60, the total of my payments would be $42,240. But this was a more expensive car. It was $35,000. So that's $7,240 in interest. Now, if I'm comparing these two amounts, sure, this payment is more. It's about $50 more a month. I'm getting a car that's $5,000 more. And when I look at the interest, though, over the course of this loan, I'm paying over $9,000 in interest. Whereas with this option, I'm paying just over $7,000 in interest. So I get more car and I pay less in interest with this option, but my monthly payment is slightly more. I bet if we reduced this down to maybe like, I'm going to guess $33,000 or something, that those might get closer together. So if it came down to this, the factors you might consider, with a used car, you may have some other expenses such as maintenance, whereas a new car may be under warranty and you might have to worry about that for a few years. So there would be other considerations if you were making this choice. Of course, you could just buy a less expensive new car. All right, so that's how you can calculate car payments. Oh, one more thing to mention. If you had a down payment or a trade-in, you would deduct that from the amount of the purchase price of the new car. So let me give one more scenario. Let's say that you have a $35,000 car, but there's tax, title, and other fees, and you've also got some money to put down. Let's say the $35,000 includes the tax, title, and fees, and you have a trade-in that's worth $4,000, and you've saved $2,000. Then the amount of your loan would just be the $35,000 minus the 6, so $29,000, and from there you would just use this formula. So just make sure that you consider if you're going to build these into your loan, that's included in this amount, and if you have a trade-in or down payment, those are deducted before you, and then this is the amount that you would use for the principal in calculating the loan payments. All right, I hope that helps you with an understanding of car payments.